Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. We're gonna do our Friday check-in. How are you feeling? You may already feel the moon moving into Capricorn territory. That reminds us that we are at this polar axis between, Sun and Capricorn. Um, I'm sorry, moon in Capricorn means the sun is in Cancer, right? So it's like that check-in, this is the second full moon in Capricorn. Yes, we would call it a blue moon, definitely astrological blue moon. Um, it's Friday. The moon will peak, dependent always upon where you are. For us on the East Coast here in the U.S., it will peak Sunday. I can't remember, you guys, is it morning time or like evening time? I'm loading the chart now. Um, yeah, you know what? I think the energy, I just want to say this whole imagery with this second full moon in Capricorn, with all of this, I'm hearing we're in the deep water, with all this deep water. Um, Now I'm seeing, well, I was going to say spiritual court, spiritual court. I keep seeing this very like vivid imagery of, is the chart going to load for me? Here it goes. Yeah, there we go. And we've got our, can I? You guys, when I look at very specific like full moons, new moons, I do have my tablet usually. And I'm just looking at the placements. I'm not a fan of, I really don't even honestly really put anything electronic. I'm just, energy transference is real. We'll leave it at that. Excuse me. Yeah, let me just go ahead and tell you too, I'm still dog sitting. So, if we have any crazy, like, uncontrollable dog interruption, I'll pause the video and deal with that. Everybody's kind of napping, chilling, relaxing. But yeah, this whole imagery that I kept seeing in my mind with this, it's the see what we got here in conjunction. Remember, I'm saying remember. So when we do one-on-one work and I'm looking at your chart, I explain to people that when we have a conjunction, we're so close that we're besties, right? We're holding hands. We've got 29-degree mark. Remember how we were talking about the anaretic degree? It's either this cataclysmic, I'm hearing, oh my gosh, y'all, what is that reel? What is that audio? I keep hearing it in my head. What is her name? He's begging the woman, is it Claudia? Please go. And she's like, I will not go. And he was like, I command it. And she's like, I command. You know what I'm talking about? It's very much, there's a gathering, you have been summoned to spiritual court. And this theme has been super present. And it's really been like Saturn moving into Pisces. Even going back into last year, I feel like this theme has been super present. This whole, you would think that it would be like a gravel clonk, clonk, clonk. You've been summoned to spiritual court. But it's more like a boom, you know what I'm saying? Like a gong, which is interesting because synchronistically that has shown up in two different places this week for me. Sorry, my iced coffee. It's so frothy. I forgot I had a frother. That's some Aquarius shit, isn't it? Like pulling out your drawer and being like, oh my gosh. Hold on, you guys. My poor mimosa. See, this is why I don't put stuff over here. It's my sacred space, okay? I did want to show you that conjunction between the full moon in Capricorn and a 0-degree retrograde Pluto in Aquarius. Because see, I how do we say, Spirit? There is a poignancy here. Do you understand? And it has to do with death, and it has to do with kind of this whole spiritual court is in session, and you have already decided, and therefore you're being rewarded with a promotion, like Capricorn kind of hands out jobs. Capricorn kind of it is very contractual, right? Thank you so much for completing the contract. We've reviewed. It's like sitting with HR, but it's this whole spiritual court scene is what I see. Hold on, guys. It's like, I was trying to tiptoe you guys because you know how you have you ever you either have a dog or you sit at a dog or whatever, and it's I'm following mom, and they follow you wherever. I'm like trying to tiptoe, don't wake the baby. So yeah, the whole scene with this full moon in Capricorn, this anaretic degree, this is gong, gong, gong. I hear it so much more like a gong. Maybe you could see an image, whatever resonates with you, right? When we storytell, how do you say, Spirit? How do we articulate? Storytelling is a passing of energy from one source of imagination to the other, and that is kind of like making an energetic connection in a different realm, in the realm of it's really in the realm of, maybe you could say, magic or spirit or pure energy. And we can kind of we can share knowledge and concepts, but we can allow ourselves to receive them and then do what we need to do with them in our own unique way. So storytelling, for sure, is a very fascinating way of articulating messages, channeling energy. Oh my gosh, so important is storytelling, but and imagination, as a medium for that matter. But listen, so the whole imagery, and maybe like I was going to say, you see it more like a gravel, but it's like spiritual court. And I see it like this two ways, with the 0 degree Pluto Aquarius retrograde, and also it's kind of interesting if you look from the sun to the moon, right, that polar axis, and then you look on the chart from the moon to what? Mars, because Mars and Uranus are both still in Taurus. It's like a very, it's sort of like a triangle-ish, but it almost looks like the moon is looking directly on towards, maybe you wouldn't say directly on towards, but you know what I'm saying? The moon is looking over at this Mars and Uranus and Taurus area over here. Mars, wow, Mars just now dead at 0 degrees. And again, remember, I'm looking at the chart for the full moon, so this will be in a couple days. This will be on Sunday, right? It's very interesting because it's almost like we're ready to walk on past. We will process and we will do with what we need to emotionally, whether that is grieve, whether that is mourn. It can be to celebrate, right? Imagine all different people gathering in the spiritual court, and you are, and maybe for you, you're like, oh, I've kind of already been that round. This is just more like an HR meeting, review of sorts. Or maybe you're like, oh no, I'm about to get a big divine inheritance. I feel that I'm on the cusp of that. So maybe for you, this is more like, I'm not really in court. I'm meeting with the lawyers. We are coming back to, as we have been since Saturn moved into Pisces, because Saturn's wanting us to be all prepared for the new beginning. I'm hearing of the disbursements. Very interesting. And it's kind of like now I'm seeing like a kickball field, and it's like you're picking teams, and it's like, how are you going to pick your team after all that's been said and done? I'm hearing it specifically from Saturn. After these whole 30 some odd years, I'm ready to see gong, gong, gong. You're called to court. You're called to the table. You're called to the review room. And Saturn's like helping you. And don't miss the full moon in Capricorn may have you also reflecting back to Capricorn season, of course. May also be very poignant what you are holding in review. Spirit is saying this can be you have absolutely closed a contract out. And you say, you keep speaking of contracts, contractual agreements, emotional contracts, spiritual contracts. We come to do this body of work, so to speak. Imagine I'm seeing in court a manila folder or a book of some sort. I think really if we're talking about our Akash, that spans endless lifetimes. So I would say maybe more of a manila folder is appropriate for just one lifetime. I don't know. Somebody might say, child, if you saw mine, it's like a binder. Okay, that's fine. I mean, okay, whoever's feeling that, I resonate with that because I feel like maybe mine needs at least a couple, I'm going to need you to break these folders up. We might need a binder. You get what I'm saying though? Go with me here. And it's like, you may find yourself, Spirit, to the highest and best good. We are always calling in and holding this space. Let me stop to set intentions because there is a lot of shadowy projection going on in the collective. And that's just the nature of the time that we're in right now. And it's never to invoke fear. We don't do that here. We understand that knowledge gives wisdom. Wisdom gives us strength. We're discerning. We stand in our power. It's not about being scared of something. You know what I'm saying? It's just to practice awareness. Everybody's not going to be in the same sitting at the same table in the courtroom as you. You know what I'm saying? And Lord knows, I'm hearing it from someone's ancestors. Lord knows we've done sat at different tables at different times. I mean, does that mean I'm trying to put us all in the same category? No. But we're not going to break down soul groups today. Not today, okay? Listen, okay? I love you so much. All I'm just trying to say is we may find ourselves at different places. Do you know what I mean? Saturn in Pisces is wrapping up multiple decades of, I hear it like this, bodies of work. And whether the contract is... It very well could be tracing you back to the roots of toxic family dynamics, or even maybe if not in this lifetime, toxic, ancestral kind of like family wounds or mental health issues. Or I'm hearing it like this: it's time for roads to be open within soul groups, within family groups, within ancestral lines, and somebody kind of has to be the one to bring it all. To heal, to bring the reckoning, to put it more, Spirit saying, to put it more in that layman terms, people like to say, and it's very appropriate, the buck stops with me this go around. And I love to see people sharing things like that, because that is someone standing in spiritual court and saying, yeah, Your Honor, dear ancestors closest to the light and in the highest and best good, I want to go ahead and speak up for our bloodline today. We're going to be closing that out. Stamped. Closed, filed, right? I'm also seeing this energy with this full moon in Capricorn, second full moon in Capricorn. Remember, we are conjunct Pluto and Aquarius in retrograde at the 0 degree. We will also come back in the fall, September, October, November. We're going to come back too. Pluto is going to kind of like gong, gong, gong. You'll be called to the court one more time. And then Pluto's going to say, all right, thank you so much. Your ancestors, you have been so pleased to work with you in this way again in this time frame. Now we are going to release you into the age of Pluto being in Aquarius, right? And then we will kind of really, really, I'm hearing it like this. Then we will really, really be fucking driving the ship. Right? And as I say, what are you saying? I'm not going to have access to my answer? No, but it's more like when your parents finally were like, all right, now you're in adulthood. You know what I'm saying? No, honey, I'm not going to be scheduling that doctor's appointment for you anymore. Nope. I can't, Yeah, I can't cover your health insurance anymore. Hey, babe, it's on you, my sweet child. Ride on out into the sunset. If you want to give me a ring and get some advice every now and then, I'd love to catch up at your altar space and let's share some offerings together. We are always here in spirit. Of course, we are in you. We are like your blood and bone. We're in your DNA. But the thing is that it's like the baton. It's like we've been in these series of meetings, you guys. And this year has kind of turned up and I understand if you feel kind of like the intensity of it. And it's almost like reminding you as well that right after this full moon, and I'm hearing after this meeting in spiritual court, we will then, and mind you, listen, we do have Mercury and Venus and Leo, okay? So we've kind of got that divine sovereign spirit in us, that playful child, that joyfulness, knowing, hey, this is all a part of the journey. Hey, don't forget, there's some real fucking beautiful shit out there, and we're still going to go see it and feel it and taste it. And we have learned how to love ourselves. It's like your heart, your divine Stargate portal, yes, coming and saying, hey, I know we're in the courtroom right now, but listen, you know what I'm saying? It's like a pep talk before you go into the HR room because you applied for a job. And it's like, nah, your body of work is straight. Like, you're good. You've worked really hard for this, okay? Go in and it's like, you're going to nail it, kid. You know what I'm saying? So it is very beautiful, and it is very much like we will go past this full moon in Capricorn feeling accomplished. We will understand that is not meaning that, okay, Spirit just wanted me again to illustrate that we will find ourselves in different seats, in different places, in different scenarios. Because some I'm hearing are tiered and they have different soul agreements in that they've kind of already been through this to kind of be slingshotted ahead. Because somebody's got to kind of hey, the way's up here, hey, get your attention. Somebody's got to be the way showers, and then other waves come in. So some of us may find that we have already been to court, maybe last year or a decade ago. I don't know. Everybody's timelines are different, right? And this is a leap year too, so goodness gracious, who knows where we all find ourselves landing frequentially, vibrationally, emotionally, right? So you may be right smack dab in the middle of saying, I'm finally closing that contract. I'm going to pass it off, Your Honor, and your ancestors and my spirit team. Thank you so much. I am ready to step forward. And then we kind of move into Leo season. It's like this regal celebration, and you get what I'm saying? Kind of the vibe, you know, the whole galactic new year, the whole, imagine this golden Egyptian celebration because it's time to go into harvest season. It's early harvest season, I know, but you get what I'm saying? You get the vibe. I'm also seeing it like some people may find that they are being, quote unquote, called to court, and they're sort of in a hot seat where it's like, hey, my sweet divine child of beauty and love and light, you know, divine sovereign being of our heart that you are. Listen, like, gong, we need to talk. Okay. Because it looks here by the notes of your contract that is that we, you know what I'm saying? We really should have been, you know how the HR lingo, the jargon will start hitting you heavy in the courtroom. Spirit is saying like, this really should have been closed out by now. And so, you know, Abraham Hicks, we love you so much. And because we want to help you progress in the experience of your contrast, you know what I'm saying, in a more productive way on your soul's journey, because the spaceships are going to start zipping around a little bit more turbulent soon to come. You don't need to be dealing with some of the, I'm hearing like this shit that you're dealing with right now. Okay. But out of our greatest love for you is how Spirit says it. So someone maybe is getting called to court, so to speak, and saying, listen, it's time, you got it, this Pluto retrograde in Aquarius at 0 degrees. Listen, can we talk? Because this has got to go. You and I both know your grandmothers and grandfathers, your spirit guides and team are the highest and best good. And all the spirit guides and the team and the highest and best good. Father God, you know, Mother Goddess, divine source energy over here is for the highest and best good. We set the intentions that are closest to the light, that are love and abundance, health, wealth, and prosperity. You got what I'm saying? So It's just, you know, and it is. It's just this. It's like when you have to have a sit down. Again, I'm seeing it much like a parent to child, and that makes sense because of the Capricorn Cancer axis. Very parent to child. Like, listen, honey, we need to talk because we don't think that this relationship is not going well. I mean, ultimately, you have divine free will. You know what I'm saying? But your spirit guides, your ancestors, your team, you with your divine high self is like, hey, if you find yourself being called to court right now, so to speak, remember we're storytelling. This is metaphorical, okay? You got to listen to your elders. Okay, I would implore you, I would urge you to trust their wisdom and experience, right? And the way that if you're looking at this sun, moon, you look at the moon right there with Pluto and Aquarius, and then you direct your attention over, you'll see Mars just getting ready to, I'm sorry, not go into Taurus, but leave it actually pretty soon and go into Gemini. And then it's going to be like, we kept talking about a beehive the other day in the reading. It's really going to be like worker bee energy, buzz here, buzz there. I'm doing a million things. I've got all the things in my hand. I'm walking around. It's going to be a little crazy. But you get what I'm saying? Boy, the energy that we are moving into in August, because I'm hearing we're going to bring forth such a harvest, is that we can't, it's kind of like the court, I'm hearing can't sit here, right? The court has to be called in session. We've got to go have this meeting with HR. We've got to go review the terms and conditions and contract and go ahead and sign the paperwork from our lawyers. We got to deal with our inheritance, and we've got to remove the blockages, is how I hear it. Because then we're going to have August, child, when I tell you August is something else. And at the end of the day, it's how you flow the energy through you. So again, it's not nothing to create anxiety, fear, worry, or anything, because we good. Listen, Spirit says it like this. Would I be calling you to quote unquote spiritual court in your heart space, in your third eye, in your crown, if I didn't have something so wonderful for you that I just had to make sure that we gotta have it all ready. You know what I mean? So I really can't pour into you in your harvest season in the way that I would prefer to, because the wheel of the year is carrying us into our harvest season, and we can't. Would you pour a bunch of liquid gold into a vessel when you see it's got a gaping crack in the back? That's not going to go well. We need to talk about, okay? So do you find yourself signing paperwork more, maybe like with ancestral lawyer team? You know, maybe you went to court, but it wasn't like where you had to go in the room. She's like, oh, we're just doing paperwork, wrapping up some finalities. Ooh, I'm excited. Like my vessel looking real good. Boom. Let's go into Leo season. Let's celebrate Galactic New Year. Let's, I'm hearing, wow, it's really beautiful because I'm seeing the vessel now. I'm hearing, let's be filled up with light. Right? Sirius dog star season, very beautiful. It's not for nothing that we keep talking about this Stargate portal in your heart chakra. And I'm almost seeing, I was doing a meditation yesterday with a very specific guided thing and sacred geometry and stuff. And it had you visualizing something coming out of your heart space. And the way that I saw it was very like, how would you say, Spirit? It was very steampunk vibes. It's like if your heart chakra finally hit a very specific photonic light sequence, like do 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 do. This is how I hear it, and then all of a sudden, click 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 click. Can you hear the gears? And everything starts, and you're so. I want to say tesseract, but I want to clarify because I don't want us at all to have our mental images tied to a dark black inverted matrix, and we don't want, we reclaim that imagery to the divine organic template of, ascended earth, ascended divine beings, 5D, migrating from 4D to 5. It's a very beautiful, like all natural steampunk. How can we say, Spirit, if a tesseract also somehow involved like flowers and sacred geometry, right? You get what I'm saying? So your heart space opens up like, you know what I'm saying? Now this I see more on into Galactic New Year, the very end of July, going into August, very much the Stargate portal opens for you to receive your jewels, is how I hear it. Dang. Right? Isn't that beautiful? However, damn it. No, listen. And let me tell you too, when I imagine, quote unquote, the panel, right, this Capricorn energy for me is very matriarchal, is very, you are now welcome to be seated in front of the divine, council of the galactic dragon mothers or something is how I see it. And there you have your wise elders over here, and they're the cosmic grandmothers. It's like this seating, right? This could be your team of ancestors, your team of spirit guides, your galactic ancestors. I'm hearing above and beyond in different dimensions than just this incarnation for you. So you're sitting there, right? And again, wherever you find yourself, it is, yay, I'm so excited. I've been busting my ass on my vessel work for a decade now. And you better believe I've got all of my T's crossed, my I's are dotted. Let's go. I'm ready to fly into Leo season, right? But some people are going to have to kind of come to terms with, and there's going to be some debates. There's going to be some dualities. And because Pluto just being at the degree point that it is, it's kind of like some people are going to be saying, okay, I relinquish the contract. But then, like, for them, it's going to take time. I mean, imagine how much longer. We still got a good bit of time in our spirit says, in our perception of time, honestly, it's very, very short. But in our linear, very not quantum perception right now, it's going to feel longer for some people. It's going to feel like, well, I've just started to let this contract go. And that's okay too. That's okay too, because it's all a part of a good work is how I hear it, like this. And if we don't go ahead, so to speak, and prepare tables, like, how will other people know what it is that they're working towards? Yeah. There has to be kings and queens. There has to be priests and priestess. There has to be the empress and the emperor, because they go ahead of the knights. They go ahead of the pages. They go ahead of all the people in the court is how I hear it. But it's all cyclical. You understand what I'm saying? And now I'm seeing this type of stone. Remember how we always talk about it goes, the progression of it, of the journey of people's work goes upwards like this. It's not just straight, da, 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 da. You're just going up the steps as you guys already know. And then sometimes it's like, whoa, but then you got to work it back up again. And so it's kind of like that tiered journey. And then I'll tell you what, too, to be honest, I mean, some people will, and I'm talking about like kings and queens setting tables, makes me think of Uranus and Taurus. And it makes me think of that Taurus energy that the moon is kind of looking at over here. Like, this is the garden we're going to start building now. This is the alternative thing. Maybe you thought, oh, I thought it was going to be this and this and this for a long, long time. And Spirit's like, no, I'm going to turn your attention. And Uranus has slowly been really working hard, Taurus, the stubborn bull, of turning our attention to, no, but see, you thought you were going to be abundant like this, but look at this. And Uranus is going to keep working with us on that for a while. No, okay, but listen, I know that you keep looking over here, but I don't know, Uranus is kind of coming through like, wipe that filter off. I don't know, maybe that's a social media reference. Take all the shit off. But if you really look over here, maybe this is what prosperity can look like for you. How does that differ for you? How do you define okay, Uranus, okay, this full moon energy also, because Capricorn, is very earthy as well. Well, if you rebuilt a family tree, or if you started a whole new branch in your garden, how would you, maybe it could look very alternative like this. And how could that be benefiting the souls and your community, or maybe your tribe, or, your job, whatever it is for you? Like, how could that be benefiting you and those who are involved? So another reason, once again, it is very, look over here at this alternative type of harvest. Maybe you thought you would never come back here to harvest. Maybe you thought that this door would never be opened, or you couldn't reach it, or something like this, right? Because we are going to have people, Spirit is saying too, like, man, they're just now coming into the courtroom for the first time. You know, I'm hearing red pill, blue pill, gong, gong, gong. And they're like, what? You know, I'm seeing somebody like is like rubbing the sleep, you know, out of their eyes. Where are we? And we're like, oh, child, listen, okay. It's like, oh, you don't own a suit? Oh, shoot. Okay, let me help you get dressed. And I see someone doing someone tie to like doing their tie. You know, I don't even know how to, I've never owned a tie. And no, it's time for you to wake up. You've been summoned. Something like this. It makes me think of how Neo, like, dead ass a majority of the whole series of movies until he had that kind of clicking it together moment. It's like they just kept throwing him in these scenarios and they were like, no, this is what you're going to do. And he was like, huh, half the time. And then he would just be yeeted into a situation. Love and light, right? He would get his ass kicked and then be like, I don't know what's going on, and then come back out and be like, it's like this for people right now. You understand? Do you understand? Like, I need you to get like, okay, dead ass. Some people are really just having all those plugs pulled out the back of their head and they're going, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, what have you yeeted me into? Okay, I see it like this. No, sweetie, you have to listen. We have suits here, okay? Let's brush your hair down. Listen, you're going to go in and you're going to talk to the wise counsel because okay, you've been summoned. And why am I hearing, carry on our wayward son? There'll be peace. What are the lyrics of that song? There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. You know, the lyrics is like something about being blind, you know, thinking you can see, but realizing you're blind. It's like I knew everything, but I didn't know anything at all. You know the words. Okay, why is that song coming through, Spirit? All right, that was kind of random. And it's like, dun, 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 hey, okay, and we're like trying to get the little babies ready. Nope, put on your suit. Okay, I know. Listen, I'll try to tell you what to say. Stay focused. You're awake, okay? You're in spiritual court. You've been summoned. And we're like, you know, now I'm hearing court, but also people in the court, pages, knights, you know, princess, but the kings and queens, they kind of know how the court goes down. What? This is crazy. Listen, not the King of Cups. Woo! Pluto and Aquarius, that's appropriate because Aquarius a lot of times is a hidden water bearer. Also can be associated like a shadowed Scorpio energy with the King of Cups sometimes. Excuse me, you know, we have talked about how we're in a Scorpionic year. Now I'm hearing it's almost like someone goes up to a stand and it's like, dun, 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 like, the microphone makes a weird noise and they're like, you got tell your story. And they're like, is this thing on? Boom, boom, boom. And someone's supposed to be like telling their story. In the spiritual court, I don't know, maybe this is a message that someone is supposed to tell a story, speak, open their throat chakra, use their story as a healing tool. I'm also hearing, you know, there's podcasts, there's channels, there's song, there's poetry. It could also be just communication writing, something about somebody telling their story. Very interesting. But anyway, King of Cups, it is also Cancer season. Do you know what I mean? I know it's a full moon in Capricorn, but it's also in Cancer season with all of this Pisces energy, right? Neptune, Pisces, Saturn, Pisces, okay? Pluto, Aquarius. Yes, I know it's an air sign, but Aquarius is often called the hidden water bearer. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah. And Aquarius loves to bring forth the hidden truth as well. You know, they're very much a truth seeker, the rebel who doesn't really care. You know what? I'll out all y'all in this courtroom right now. Okay. And you know, Aquarius would be the one, they'd be like, gong, gong, order in the court. You know, and Aquarius is like, You can't handle the truth. I'm sorry. Let me stop channeling to y'all the images. This is just what I'm seeing it go down. You know, it's also a big time right now. Okay, Spirit wants me to go back and remind us that full moon in Capricorn, right? People are releasing in the collective a lot of like things that they have had such a fucking tight grip on. It's kind of like full moon in Capricorn, you know, Earth, matriarchal, motherly, but grounded and stable. But it's like the opposite of that. It's almost like interesting that we're being in Capricorn season, because in the galactic new year it was this big celebration, and hopefully there had been a big flood for the Egyptians with the Nile, right? Because that meant that even though they flooded, it was going to be a fruitful time because they received nourishment from the flood, the waters, the sediments. There's a lot of different things going on when an area floods. It's actually healthy if it's controlled, you know, because it nourishes the soil. It brings in new. Okay, there's a lot of good reasons that a flood is very healthy. Obviously, they were a very dry, desertous, barren place. You know what I'm saying? So if they didn't get their floodwaters, not so good of a celebration. So it's interesting because it's like some people, and Ace of Wands flips out. I don't know. What is it? Spirit. How do we say? Some people have been flooded kind of in unexpected ways. We could be saying emotionally. We could be saying literally in their life. Maybe things just got overwhelming, or they lost maybe things they never thought they would lose. And it's a lot of unshaking up the things they thought would be stable. What do you mean? Such and such about society. I mean, what do you mean about the political system? What do you mean about AI? What are you telling me about social media, right? Are you telling me this job that I've worked for 30 years is just gone? I mean, there's lots of scenarios like this in the very concrete 3D. You know, and at the same time, there's a lot going on in the fourth dimension as well, where people's like, I thought this, let's just say, I'm just giving a hypothetical example. I thought this religion would be it for me forever. Is it, what do you mean? It's like, Spirit is taking me back now again to the Matrix when they pull them out and it's like, what the fuck? I mean, I remember you asked me to take the pill, but after you unplug me, are you telling me this is what the fuck it is? And people are angry. Do you know what I mean? Because it's hard to digest. And I'm sure that we've all been there. Let's throw back to, Spirit is showing me in my mind a meme of my spiritual journey. You know, I thought I was going to be riding on a unicorn. Now I'm seeing, what do you call it? The Nyan cat? Is that what you call it? Da, 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 da. Rainbows and shit. And then people wake up and they're like, what is shadow work? You know, this is a scorpionic year in the underbelly of the Leo energy. Come on. Do you get what I'm saying? Not the Queen of Cups with the King of Cups. Yeah, we're I don't know. I heard something talking about we're going to flood the courtroom. No. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Pluto and Aquarius, you know, the Lord and of death in the underworld. Very interesting in the astrals. It's like this storyline flipping between order in the spiritual court. You know, contracts are completing, new quote unquote assignments are being accepted. I don't know, maybe rejected. It's a very in between of not in a void, but kind of for a lot of people. And then once again, I want to reiterate, and this is just for our understanding, a lot of people are also having a moment of beautiful illumination as well, because again, they are ready. Some people are like, oh, I've just been waiting to hear the gong because I'm so ready to step into it. Some people have found themselves, Spirit is saying, at a timeline and a frequency. You know how they say some people are already on a different timeline? Some people are there. And they're like, child, I am a flood pro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even in the spiritual courtroom. I am the whole walls that make up the courtroom. I'm so beyond it, you know, because I've already integrated that through my soul's journey. And I'm like a surfboard. Y'all, I'm hearing surfboard. Okay, listen. I'm surfing. I got a canoe up here. I got a surfboard up here. I'm on top of the flood. I'm chilling because that is just how I vibe now. And I am so ready. Why am I seeing this image of like, y'all don't laugh at me. Okay. I am seeing a lot of dolphins. Now I'm seeing, we're on a different timeline, Spirit is telling me. Now I'm seeing people who aren't in the courtroom anymore, but they're on the ocean. And it's like there's dolphins and there's whales and they're receiving their new level of contracts on different timelines. And they're already, I'm hearing opening up the scrolls. What? Spirit is showing me something like a Dead Sea Scroll. Maybe somebody studies something and that's a confirmation to them. Wow. But y'all, I saw this crazy image of like something that looked like Poseidon. Now it makes me think because Poseidon is, Spirit is showing me a book. Hold on, you guys. Poseidon is associated with the King of Cups as well. Wouldn't they be the best surfers, right? It's the King and Queen of Cups, okay? And it can be to say, possibly, once you handle the pressure, hey, I'm responsible. I'm either building something new that we're gonna keep on growing in this humanity experience. When I walk out of the courtroom, I'm about to go get straight onto my boat. Oh, that's interesting that we're talking about all this now, because in the beginning I was saying something about we're going to be the ones driving the boat, right? After we come back round and meet again in Pluto and Capricorn, and then boom, we go out, Pluto and Aquarius, right? Wow, Spirit. Okay, I'm going to look at something really quick in this Marielle Tarot book. In my own personal work, this card came out this morning, and so I was reading about, man, there is such a wild ass story associated with this card. I made one of my first gemstone essences ever, and it was called Shamash. But for another day, you guys, maybe that's so beautiful. Maybe we'll talk about that around the Galactic New Year. Spirit is asking me to flip to this King of Cups first. We're just going to read it, okay? So this, the image is very beautiful. This does it no justice at all. And I'm not going to linger on it too long because there's a questionable spot there and I don't want to get flagged. She writes, and again, this is Marie White. She writes, "The gods of the oceans are always incredibly powerful and mysterious. When all else fails, the ocean comes and wipes it." Are you going to someone? Okay, I'm seeing lots of ocean water. And it's been coming through in a lot of what I've been seeing and channeling too. Outside, I keep hearing outside of the courtroom. So maybe we've been to the ocean, we're going to the ocean, or the ocean is very significant to certain people. Anyway, the gods of the oceans are always incredibly powerful and mysterious. When all else fails, the ocean comes and wipes out whatever problem there is as if it never existed. It's almost like as soon as you leave the spiritual courtroom, or wherever you find yourself, right? Maybe you were just low-key in the HR meeting tweaking some stuff. Or maybe you were just to the side of the courtroom with your spiritual lawyers and your ancestors working on your Akash, getting ready to get more parts of your inheritance integrated into your body and into this timeline, right? Wherever you were, when you walk out, it's almost like whoosh. You go on a vacation to the ocean or something. You know what I'm saying? And I saw this really funny mental image of like Poseidon on a surfboard, but he was like dressed in vacation attire. What the? But he had his trident. Okay. Anyway, now I'm hearing, y'all, what is it? Thingamabobs. I've got 20. No big deal, but who cares? I want more. Okay, I'm ready to know. Dun, 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 dun. It's a very like breakout into the unknown. Okay, let's not channel Disney, right? I mean, okay, listen, let me read. When all else fails, the ocean comes and wipes out whatever problem there is as if it never existed. This is Poseidon, and the blue flowers are the blue lotus. Okay, if you know me, you know how I feel about blue lotus. I did this whole body of work a couple months ago with blue lotus things. I did candles, I did oils, I did a bath potion. Was it Pisces season? Anyway, this is Poseidon, and the blue flowers are the blue lotus. They are intoxicating and speak of this king's precedence over sleep and altered states, the subconscious and the active subconscious. So maybe in your dream space, and it's very important that we continue our rest as we get closer and closer to August, because August is going to be like boom, boom, pow, boom, boom, pow. It's going to go by very fast. It's going to be a little crazy. But maybe a lot of this spiritual court work and then the grieving, the release, the stepping into all these processes after the full moon in Capricorn. Maybe what we'll be doing a lot of this like in dream time. Okay. Where he is, there is no time like we know it. There is no reality or gravity like we know it. It is the home of our imagination, of dreams, of fiction, of mythology, of the moon. Usually it stays beneath the surface, but occasionally it rises up and wipes out the whole civilization. I'm feeling a premonition of a thing, but that'll be for another time, possibly. Very interesting. This also makes me think of Neptune and Pisces. Okay. The King of Cups is mastery over your own subconscious, your black horse, your animal nature and desires. This is incredibly difficult and powerful. If you can master this, you can rise above everything and see the face of God, or the most objective truth there is that is at the center of your universe. But as mere men, it is so difficult to control this horse that even the greatest of men, women, he, she, them, they, man, Cerberus, right? Okay. Even so, just a glimpse of eternity is enough to transform your soul completely and change you forever. Your awareness will never be the same. Maybe this is that type of moment that we will be having in our quote unquote spiritual court experience. Now, sometimes Spirit is wanting me to unpack and explain that spiritual court, we are referring to this imagery in reference to the full moon in Capricorn, okay? Sometimes that can be with Jupiter in Gemini and Saturn in retrograde. That can be you kind of coming to this reckoning level of awareness of your choices over the last few decades, spiritual, emotional, physical, what have you. It's kind of like the closing of a lot of karmic lessons at once, and your brain kind of going, integrate, 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 integrate. It's like, I get it. Shit, I get it. Oh my gosh, I get that, right? You're having a lot of these moments. So in your sleep time and your altered state, Spirit is saying it's important. Your water ritual is very important because we are cleansing, clearing, we're integrating at like rapid light speed. Because guys, we have to. The way the energy is moving in our timelines right now, in our frequencies right now, we have to. If we don't, you're going to be locked in at like a much lower frequency, and maybe you will be asleep to the fact that you don't even know it, but you don't want to be locked in there. Okay, let me continue to read. As with all water cards, emotions may lie on the surface, sometimes confusing and unwanted, just like dreams, seeming gibberish at times, but they all have meaning. The surface of water is pushed up and down by what is going on in the depths. It is never meaningless. It is like laying the hand on someone's chest and feeling the heartbeat within. Emotions are the communication of the beating heart deep within the chest, and you feel them most when there is a problem or when they are working hard. The key words here are master your subconscious, knowing the self enough to not be a slave to it, but learn from it and derive power from it, for it is infinitely wise. On the shadow side, not enough good sleep, intoxication, inability to understand yourself, repressing emotions. Interesting. Hypocrisy. Interesting. Wow. And then I will say for the Queen of Cups in her book, she discusses Tiamat, kind of like the big dragon, maybe you could say dragon, maybe you could say scorpion. There's different ways to kind of describe that image of Tiamat in the ocean, which kind of makes me think of scorpion, the scorpionic like year and Scorpio and the big depths of the belly of the ocean, you know. It says, beneath her beautiful, perfect surface lies Tiamat, the primordial goddess of the sea, the dragon of chaos. Create for yourself an environment where love is given. and received, and you are allowed to grow. Value your emotions. They are never without reason or source. And practice patience. Interesting. Wow. You know what, you guys? I really feel that that is the message. And I know we kind of kept it super abstract. I was really pressed on by Spirit, my guides, and my team, you know, the spiritual core imagery and sharing that. So I think it was really powerful. I think there's a lot of reflection to be done on this full moon in Capricorn. It's giving a lot of like completing contracts. Like my friend literally made a comment today when we were talking to each other, talking about I need to tie up loose ends. And that's very accurate. It's like cross the T's, dot the I's, make sure all the forms are signed on the paperwork, whether you're closing, what needs to be closed out is closing out, closing out, closing out, closing out. And then once again, mind you, it's going to be like that mid-fall check-in. Hey, are we still in line with all of this that we agreed upon, closed out, that we understood, that we let go of, that we grieved, we mourned, we celebrated, and we released under that full moon? Before the galactic year, I'm hearing, rebirths itself. Because something is big is going to really be big that's going to be received in August. And this could, of course, have to do with, you know, a certain alignment, Sirius Stargate, you know, and, you know, Alcyone and the Grand Central Sun, all these things. It could be. But, yes, I think I'm going to leave it there, you guys. I love and appreciate you so much. I think going to next week, we'll really kind of dig in more and talk about Mars. And we might kind of circle back around and talk about how we're doing with the Algol, that all the conjunction, Uranus and that star and Mars and all that good stuff. So I look forward to checking back in with you guys. Take good care this weekend. I hope you have a great full moon weekend in whatever way you choose to observe it. I'll talk to you soon. All right, guys. Bye.